All right, so welcome to advisory, everybody. This is the fourth part of our note-taking lesson. So today we're going to talk about more tools to use while you're taking notes and how some ways you could improve your study skills. Okay, so taking useful notes. So when it's time to study for a test, there's 3 important steps that you have to consider. Okay, so step 1 is to know what's on the test. Your teachers will usually tell you what's going to be on the test. So make a list of all the things you need to know. Okay, that's a good way of organizing how to go about studying. Okay, review your notes. So review the notes and figure out the areas you need to study the most. So this is why note taking is so important, because when you do know what's on the test, then you could search for it in your notes. And then use study tools. So create study tools to help you with more intense preparation. So we went over a couple ways to organize our notes and how to take notes, but these tools are also going to be ways to help you study, okay? One of the biggest tools we considered flashcards. You have an online version called Quizlet. So right on the right-hand side there, I have that website that you can check out if you aren't already familiar with that. It's a good way to do it if you're a person that's typically on your computer, okay? Typically with flashcards, you would be put maybe like the question on one side and then the answer on the other. And then you want to spend most of the time on the questions that you do not know until you do know them, okay? So the idea with flashcards is something you can bring with you in your backpack, maybe take it on the bus with you if you're going somewhere. Whatever, it's just something you can pull out whenever you need to. And the Quizlet is something that you could use on your phone. So if you don't want to carry a group of flashcards around with you, this is another way to do it. So also with practice problems and graphics. So these are things that will help you study as well. So for math and science, so ask your teacher for maybe some blank problems that you could try out in order to get better at doing the work when you have the exam. And there's also graphics. So if you can create a graphic that helps you study, this is another way to prepare yourself for an exam, okay? So nothing else will prepare you better than to try and actually solve the problems that you're going to have, or similar problems to the ones that you're going to have on the test, okay? Can you also find practice problems on the internet, okay? And for example, like with the graphics, if you're trying to remember all the U.S. states, don't just look at a list, right? It's easier sometimes in this case to kind of look at it as the map is laid out. So you can find a blank template online and then write them in. That would be like a good way to study the capitals. Okay, those are just some examples. We have flashcards, which you can go question and answer definitions. It's great. Even with math problems, you can put a formula on one side and how to answer the formula on the other. And again, the graphics and practice problems are a great way to study as well. But what other ways can you think of that might help you to improve your grades and your test taking skills? So please discuss this as a class. You might be doing something that works really well for you. And the goal here is to help your peers come up with different ideas, because I gave you a couple, but you very well might not use those techniques and you might have something else that works for you. So please discuss as a class, what are some tips that work for you that you can share with your classmates? And this might be a good opportunity for your teacher to chime in and talk about what worked for them when they were in school. So it could be either like tools that you use, like flashcards, or maybe an online source like Quizlet, or it can be even just note organizers that we talked about before, about like the Cornell notes and those graphic organizers we talked about, how to organize your notes. Those are examples, okay? So what are some tips that work for you? And what can you share with your classmates? So take a minute and discuss. And thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.